I'll be drunk in 2 hours. Come on.
Hey, fans of
Oh my God.
this week, in an effort to keep us current, I chose Unfrosted, which was co-written and directed by Jerry Seinfeld, and I need to apologize in advance for making everybody watch it.
No.
I'm Frank Gaffney. With us, as always, is Joel, Captain Crunch, Fenster, Annie King, and Mark Abacus Gardner, who has a picture.
Hold on. Can we go back to Wotits?
Wotits?
I like it better.
I just did another movie where Mr. Wotits was the editor again.
Well, then it's
and
time.
Goldhook and Cringer.
This Cringer right there taking a shower.
Yeah, I see that.
Really for a bath. It's kind of
all right, here's the plot of the movie. Let's keep on this, will we? In 1963, Kellogg's and Post, sworn cereal rivals, raced to create a pastry that will forever change the face of breakfast. I can tell you it never changed the face of my breakfast. I've never eaten a Pop-Tart in my life.
Oh my God.
Same here.
Wow. They're amazing.
I was going to say, you're not really missing much.
Oh, they're so good.
Okay, so this movie is jam-packed with nostalgia. And the props department must have had a field day finding or creating all the crap from Jerry's childhood. But so many great comedians who are usually funny, but here they really have nothing to work with. I'm sorry. Here's one instance. Jim Gaffigan says, "It's like a balloon popping out of a steering wheel. It's impossible." That's funny? How is that funny? Because he's making fun of something in the future that's going to be created.
That's actually going to save lives.
That's going to save. So that's funny. To quote Anthony Carrigo, but there were so many setups for potentially funny bits. The Taste Pilots, every one of them is a funny actor, comedian. Nothing seemed to land in this movie. And Kellogg's cornflakes are my jam. I have them almost every morning with a banana and milk. But in the movie, they don't even know how to eat cereal because they do close-ups and the cornflakes aren't even wet before they put them on the spoon. All of the cornflakes need to be submerged before you eat them.
I'm with you.
Not everyone has your technique, obviously.
Ridiculous. They've never eaten cereal before, it's obvious. And then the two kids kind of had their moments. I think he really coached them. They definitely got the tone of the movie. But that girl kept reminding me of Honey Boo Boo.
Oh my God, that girl.
Yeah, she was a little rough.
But her timing was great. All right, and then at the end we had the January 6th homage. I don't know what it was supposed to be. Walter Cronkite was kind of funny, the little bits with him not doing things. But renaming the Trap Pop, I mean, when, it was, did you see where it was going when they came up with Trap Pop to begin with?
Yeah.
Everything was so obvious. And again, I have to apologize for making everybody watch it. And and it's so sad because I can imagine Jerry Seinfeld goes around asking all his friends who are comedians. They're all like, "Oh my God, Jerry, sounds great. We're in." Wow. And then they show up and they're like, "Okay, how can something he make be so not funny?" And you have two of the funniest women working today, Melissa McCarthy and Amy Schumer. Why? It could have been anybody in the world for the lack of comedy coming from them. I'm giving it 2 stars. 1 hour and 23 minutes was way too long. It was like a sketch on Saturday Night Live that had nowhere to go, nothing to do, and I'm sorry. All right. Annie King, did you think it was cute?
I thought it was just a lot of sketches. It was just a lot of different sketches. And while there were a lot of cute things and definitely, the nostalgic factor was there and everything. But I just, like you said, I didn't feel like it really meshed into a movie. It wasn't like and I did, for some reason, it did feel longer than an hour and
23 minutes.
yeah, and that's all it was. After it, I was like, oh, it was only, like
It
less
was
than
only 4 hours long.
yeah. So it did feel a little long, and I don't I mean I did say, oh, I know that person. Oh, I know that
Yeah.
person. So
Oh yeah.
yeah, so there was a lot of people in it, and yet it just felt like a lot of little different sketches to me, that just got kind of thrown together. So it was fine. I like the
Yes.
milkman. That was really funny.
Christian Slater.
Yeah, Christian Slater. And I thought the whole award thing was really stupid.
It went on too long too.
Yeah.
Like you said, everything was a little sketch they thought were so funny, and then nope.
Yeah, no, I mean, and I thought there were a lot to chuckle over. I just never felt it came together well. So, but I did enjoy, I laughed and I enjoyed it. So I'm gonna go with 2.75.
Amy, please tell me you agree with me.
I did take notes. I've been
Oh,
looking
good.
very, I've been looking because I've been looking very forward to this movie for quite a while. I heard about it well over a year ago. And as you were saying about all the people that were in it, I thought it was a boomer and older Gen X wet dream. Every single person we know and love was in this movie, as well as so many references to commercials and stuff like that that we all remember here in this group. But let me see what the notes I wrote. I thought, Annie, unlike you, I thought the Bowl and Spoon Awards was cute. And my favorite one was best use of niacin.
Yes.
Well, I love the slow motion cereal eating that our three leads, now I don't remember who our three leads are, who I meant, with all of the slow motion close-ups of the cereals, because I'm a huge fan of cereal like Frank and Jerry Seinfeld, and cereal deserves all the love. I love how they treated the whole thing like the space race and took it all very seriously, and using the term, Frank, as you said, taste pilots as opposed to test pilots. I loved when the reporter asked Tom Carvel why, with his horrible voice, he put himself in his own commercials, because he really did have a horrible voice. I did smile when the mascots were rioting and Hugh Grant was dressed like the wacko.
The shaman.
Yeah. And somebody was holding a sign that said birds are real, because I'm totally part of that whole birds aren't real thing. So that was just a quick flash. If you didn't,
I did not see that sign, but I know what you're talking about. That's funny. That's funny.
That was very cute. And that was all I wrote. Now I'm going to give you my true thoughts of the movie, Frank.
That was not true thoughts. Okay.
That was just, I'm going to be nice. I don't understand why every single actor was told to overact so badly that it was torture, including the kids. The girl was unbearable, I thought, across the board. Well, I guess I do, since the director was Jerry Seinfeld, because he's never directed. And in fact, I completely forgot he had directed. I thought, who the hell directed this movie and doesn't know how to direct actors? But I did really like Christian Slater, Peter Dinklage, and Hugh Grant. I also couldn't stand Amy Schumer's characters just constantly destroying Max Greenfield over and over and over, and like smashing him in the head with the typewriter. Oh my God, that was so funny. It's the same thing over and over. And you know how I hate that. The post-tart being called a dingus. Good Lord, really? And Kellogg's naming them Trap Pops. I wrote, come on. Finally, I wrote, comedy is funny when it's based in reality. Everybody knows that, and I've heard it 100 times. Over the top ridiculousness is not funny when it's combined with lazy, lousy writing. And of course, I understand over the top is not based in reality, but there was too much of it for me that was supposed to be real, and it was just so stupid. Frank, I'm giving it 1.5 stars. I hated it. I hated it. I love Jerry Seinfeld so much, so I can't give it 1 star, but I thought it was horrible.
But he disappointed. He definitely
horribly
disappointed. And I think you're definitely right, where another director might have this is the thing I hate, was when you just trust the actors. They know what they're doing. They're funny people. No, they're not. You need to guide them.
Hold on.
So
Sorry, go ahead, finish.
Yeah.
I,
Right.
I was just gonna say, but to you and to, Amy's comment was, "Who's this director? He doesn't know how to direct actors." I think part of the problem is that the bulk of the main cast weren't actors. They're comedians who
Right.
act on the side. They're not
Right.
real actors, so they did need a stronger
I
director to
totally
actually make them.
disagree. Totally disagree. Melissa McCarthy is an actor. Christian Slater, Hugh Grant, everyone from Saturday Night Live. They're all
I'm
actors.
thinking of Amy Schumer and Jimmy Gaffigan. But
Amy
Melissa McCarthy,
Schumer has done acting.
So
Yeah,
has
I-
Jim,
Hello?
Jim Gaffigan actually. He's done
Yeah.
some dramas where
So-
he's actually pretty good.
I don't like Jim Gaffigan, and I thought this was the perfect part for him. But if he had something funny to do,
Yeah. No.
the bombast was very cute. But okay, but so I saw Jerry Seinfeld on something, and they showed a clip of something when they were at the grave, which was a very funny idea, dipping them in the milk, and they showed him, he's sitting there and the thing is happening over here, and he looks over there to see what's happening, and he said, "I'm not acting there, I'm directing."
Oh yeah, that was on CBS Sunday morning.
Yeah, he's like, "I'm watching to see what
Yeah.
that person's doing."
He froze
So
on
you
his
think-
face and said, "Right there, I'm not acting at all. I'm totally out of
I'm
character. Just watching
I'm
them."
directing. Not that he was ever an actor. Okay, Joel, Captain Crunch. I mean, don't you agree, Joel, that the nostalgia factor was there? And I'm sure they were like, "Ooh, let's include blah, blah, blah. Let's include blah, blah, blah. Slinky, Silly Putty, everything."
The movie, first of all, the movie reminded me of like 8 other movies. And I think
Right.
that, and one of them being Flaming Hot, which came out last year. I don't know if anybody saw
Yeah, it was a
that.
good movie.
And that was directed by Eva Longoria, who I was not expecting anything from. And I was like, this is a really well-made, enjoyable film. It's heartwarming, it's funny, and it's
But
not.
was she in it?
No,
She in it?
she was
Huh.
not in it.
Yeah, there you go. She had
But-
one job.
Right. But she did it well, and it was enjoyable. And this should have been, or could have been, similar. To me, the film was a lot like, you have a lot of spicy food late at night, and then it takes you forever to go to bed because you've got heartburn and indigestion. When you finally fall asleep and pass out, you have all these weird fever dreams that don't make any sense. Basically, that's what happened. And then Seinfeld was like, "Oh, I've got all these great ideas, and I'm not going to actually go back and fix them or put them into anything. They're just funny bits and moments, sketches," as Annie put
Right.
it.
I
That
think there were four writers credited.
Yeah, and once you get past 2, you're kind of in that zone of, oh God, this could potentially be terrible.
But that's like sitcom writing, where you have a whole room of 6 or 8 writers. Everybody throws out the best jokes, but
Yes.
in that case, there's a plot to go with it.
Correct. And here the plot was, we're inventing Pop-Tarts.
The
And
barest bones of plots, yes.
yeah, and it wasn't that interesting in that sense. I don't, and don't get me wrong, I don't think you should be apologizing for making us watch this. I spent, I'm going to give it the 90-minute mark of, because there were credits of, I was entertained for 90 minutes. I don't regret seeing it. I would never watch it again. I wouldn't recommend it to people unless they're high. I think honestly, we were all sitting there like, why are we not smoking pot while we're watching this? It's
honestly, I would have watched it no matter what the reviews
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
So,
and I get that.
Jerry.
I like Jerry Seinfeld. I'm not like the biggest fan of his. I know there's some detriments and issues that I have with him on certain things. His show was a classic. I won't detract from that. But beyond that, I don't think he's quite all that. And going into this, I was like, I wasn't expecting much, and I got that.
I think he's a funny stand-up comedian. I do.
He is a funny stand-up comedian,
definitely,
from the 90s. I don't know that he's
he had a show recently, didn't he?
Yes.
Do a stand-up recently?
Yes,
and I thought
it
that
was
was
good.
funny.
All right,
Yeah.
I may be coming off the recent, he's complaining. He's the old
Yeah.
man off my lawn complaining.
Yeah.
Right.
But
Yeah.
there
But,
were
he
some
does have He's a little misdirected there, but he's not wrong.
Right. For me, I love that they called it the dingus, because that's to me, it's like that's what Paul Newman called the hula hoop in the Hudsucker
Is it?
Project. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not
The
saying that
dingus?
that was, I don't think they were referencing that in any
I
way.
bet they were. I bet they were.
Maybe they will, man. Maybe they
I
will.
doubt that.
Maybe it's Jim Gaffigan's favorite movie. It's like, let's call it a dingus.
Yeah.
Although, admittedly, when they showed the diagram of the Pop Tart to whoever, I was like, yeah, it's like the diagram of the hula hoop. It's just a circle.
Oh, but then when they do the rectangle with all the perfect
That's what I'm
dots,
saying. Yeah.
that was great.
Yes.
You
Right,
know,
and the
I
diagram of
laughed.
the circle. Yeah.
Yeah, I laughed. I can't deny that, you know. But again, I was entertained for 90 minutes. I don't know that I recommend it to anybody. I don't know that I would watch it again, unless I was forced to at gunpoint.
I laughed at Niacin and then the closing credits when they showed bloopers.
The bloopers were good.
Oh yeah, right.
Not the dancing, just the actual
The
bloopers.
bloopers, sure. I'm gonna give it a 2. It's, you know, which I think might be one of the lowest things I've ever given. So
Yeah.
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 it's right up there with Leonard Part 6 in that, you know, weird fever dream.
Shut out with the Leonard parts back.
All right, here
Okay,
comes our
Mark.
3-star review.
Mark,
3 stars,
G,
4-star
you have
review.
a picture up. That's a 3-star review right there.
Mark, don't be
then
ashamed.
You guys nailed it. I'll start off with 3 stars is exactly what I'm giving it. But clearly I'm surrounded by some irrational people here, some more than others, that did not get what this movie was going for. I thought it was
Please explain it to us.
Yeah.
it was silly. It was supposed to be quirky and weird, and that's what it was.
But it was supposed to be funny at the same time.
Somewhat. Movie doesn't be funny to be good. I enjoyed the quirkiness of it, and I thought it was way better than the reviews. I read one review said it was the worst movie in a decade, and I mean maybe.
Oh, that's wrong.
That's
Amy,
wrong.
maybe not to Amy, who gave it 1.5 stars. That's pretty rough. So maybe you really did hate it, but hold on, let me go to my notes and see what I wrote down. It was cheesy, quirky, and funny at times, is what I wrote. The only thing I absolutely hated about the movie, maybe the girl, maybe her, but was the stupid living ravioli thing. I hated that. But seeing Patrick Warburton, aka Putty, show up in the beginning was fun. Amy, as you said, just for our crowd who loved Seinfeld and so forth. And even though I didn't like, I thought the putting at Schwinn's grave, the pouring of the cereal and milk, I thought was a little silly. But then coming over and cutting the bananas, that actually cracked both of us up.
One quick thing I want to point out about the historical accuracy of things. There was no Steve Schwinn. His name was Frank at that time. Frank Schwinn was the head of the company. So,
but Steve Schwinn is funnier.
I understand that. But
literally, there's nobody named Steve Schwinn?
Not at that time running the company. No.
Alliteration is better for humor.
Is it? In this case, was it really?
Was it?
And what's his name with the great name who played Tony the Tiger was American.
Yes.
Thurl Ravenscroft.
Yeah.
Raven.
Ravenscroft, yeah.
Hugh Grant's character, I thought he really was British.
No.
Oh, okay. Okay. The Mad Men, even though I never watched 1 minute of the show, I know their characters. I thought
that was cute.
they were great.
What I didn't understand what he was ripping up. What was that? When he saw the TV and then John Hamm ripped up a poster, I'm like, what?
Because they went for something. He pitched one idea. He pitched an idea of doing whatever that was ridiculous. And when he saw the actual ad or whatever it was, he ripped it up and then they weren't going with them. Yeah.
Okay.
I love, just like Annie referenced, the secret society and history of the milkmen. I thought was hilarious. And the meeting of the 5 families of cereal, like the mafia. I get it. It's an obvious joke, but it was enjoyable for me.
Did you get it being an obvious joke? Did you get the joke or the reference to the restaurant they were meeting in?
Was it from The Godfather?
At Barzini's.
Yes.
I did not get that reference, but that's funny.
But you will next
Good job,
year.
Annie. You get a gold star for that, Annie.
The sugar kingpin, in Puerto Rico instead of cocaine in Colombia. It was clever. Jim Gaffigan picking up the screaming child and screaming in his face made both of us actually laugh out loud. Maybe you guys didn't like it. We had to rewind it because we were laughing so hard. And a couple weeks ago, Hugh Grant stole the movie. This week, it was Bill Burr.
Wonka.
Yes, in Wonka. Bill Burr as a parody of JFK We both love Bill Burr, and I thought he was absolutely hilarious. Every word out of his mouth was ridiculous. It was great. Um, and lastly, Jerry Seinfeld, he still can't act at all. um, but I guess I really am a real Seinfeld fan because I mean, besides his show, I like Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. I like his stand-up,
I
and
love him.
this movie had a lot of faults. I'm certainly not saying this is a great movie. And as Joel said, I actually would not recommend this so much. But it made us laugh. It was fun. So it is 3 stars. It was a nice surprise. But for our fan at home, watch The Food That Built America if you want the
Yes.
real history of Kellogg and Post and Hershey's and all that shit. So
The Road to Wellville is a better film about Kellogg than this.
no, that was horrible. I will not watch that again.
I actually really loved the kid in the very beginning in the diner, the
Yeah.
one that was running away. I thought he was so
And
on.
at the end too, his reaction to him, he was like an adult in a little
Yeah.
kid's body. Yeah.
And
He was the
I
best.
think that's part of the problem is that opening scene sets the movie up in such a way that it doesn't really, I don't want to say it doesn't pay off, but it doesn't pay off. It's literally like, I used to tell my kids bedtime stories where I'm falling asleep while I'm telling them, and these stories are coming out like, you know, the giant started charging money to tour his castle, and he threw Jack out and off the beanstalk and shit like that. And I think that's the type of story Jerry Seinfeld was telling the kid, that it wasn't like, a real story. It was like, I'm making up bullshit along the way.
Yes.
Over the
But,
top.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but
Great point.
right from the beginning, when you see the kid packing his hobo stick thing, and he puts in every iconic toy from the 60s, I'm like, all right, we're going to be in for it. And dancing to the song at the end, I'm like, first of all, again, all of Jerry's friends seem very game. It was the kind of thing that I would never imagine Jerry Seinfeld to do, being all and but the song, I'm like, "Ay, what the hell is this song?" And I looked it up. Jerry Seinfeld actually wrote the song for Jimmy
Page.
Fallon. So Jimmy Fallon and Megan Trainor sing this song. I'm like, this song is not going to be a hit song. What the
Sure it is.
hell?
It's their attempt at getting the Oscar for best song next year.
Ah,
Ah, I
nice.
see.
Because that's
Well,
what Flaming Hot was nominated for at the Oscars.
I don't think they can actually, because I don't think this was released to movie theaters.
I bet you're going to find out somewhere along the way it had like, a week-long thing
1 week
at the
in
Egyptian
LA.
or something like that.
All right. So, okay. Well, Unfrosted is on Netflix if you want to watch it. If you have nothing else to do for an hour and 23 minutes, go right ahead. Next week is Mark's Choice, and we are watching Maverick from 1994 with Mel Gibson. It's not streaming. You could rent it. I got it from the library.
I got it in my collection.
Me too.
Anybody else collect terrible movies from the 90s?
No, that's not. It's not. It's a specific category of terrible movies. It's terrible movies from the '90s that were based on '60s TV shows.
There you go.
And starring people who turned out to be racists.
Well,
It's a very specific
that's
category.
a category of one, because I'm sitting here going, who in the Wild Wild West or the Avengers were racists? But anyway,
We should have watched it after Europa.
right.
Yeah.
And followed up with Schindler's List.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. All right, that's it, I guess. Okay. I'm Frank Gaffney. Go watch any movie but this one.
And also with you.